Hi, everyone. This is EstaRa with a message for you. This is a reading for January 27th, 2017. And I am here with the card reading that I promised for my previous video. And I wanted to just remind you that I've been sick, so I'm sorry if I sound, every once in a while, I get really congested and cough. And I have a really bad headache. But I wanted to tell you it's 11:11 right now. And I wanted to tell you, it is a new moon. It feels amazing. This feels like really the first new moon that feels a little bit lighter than the previous ones. And it feels like we are just getting ready to move into something. Like this is movement energy. This is the energy of movement coming in. At least that's what I'm feeling. I also feel like a lot is transpiring, a lot is changing. And what's interesting is there is this energy that has been kind of like a cloud, a heaviness over our planet, or at least from what I've been feeling for like a week. Oh, my computer again is falling. I need a new laptop stand. I don't know where to get one that's going to actually work and I can adjust it without it being clumsy and crazy. I'm rambling. So bringing me back. So that energy, that heaviness, that cloud is moving. It's going away. It's not here anymore. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time for shifting, changing. And I feel like we are in a place where a lot is happening. So one of the messages I got recently was the divine masculine is going through a tremendous amount of internal changes. And he has been going through them for about a year. It's been about a year, not quite a year yet, but he has been going through the divine masculine. Again, doesn't necessarily mean it's a male. It's just whoever is representing the divine masculine in the twin flame couple is going through massive transformation internally, has been doing that for so long. And now what I'm being told is like over the next several weeks to months, you're going to start to see his expression a little bit stronger. Each time that you interact with your twin, you'll see a shift. But you'll also see that for divine masculine energy on the planet, there's going to be shifting, a reevaluating is what I'm hearing, and a reflection, which is more than I knew before because they just told me that they're going to start to be a little different. So a reevaluating of priorities of what they're doing, almost like a the words I'm getting, it's really very funny. I'm getting like a hijacking of the human person that's been an ego for so long is being hijacked and transplanted with this higher frequency human that has been evolving internally and hasn't been really out there yet, kind of like afraid to put his foot out in the water. But in some ways, this divine feminine energy that's been like pummeling our planet for months and years, which is bringing in this beautiful softness energy, is actually bringing this massive change to the divine masculine. It's allowing him and giving him permission to be who he truly is. So that feels really awesome. And this new moon, I really feel like capture the energy if you can feel it. I can feel the newness. While I've been sick, I am a little out of it today. My head's still pounding. The newness of the energy is incredible. There's like this incredible energy that I feel. I'm not really sure what it means because I would love to say it's all we're coming into union, but I don't know if every single person this moment is coming into union, but a lot are, I'm sure, because I sense this coming together feeling, this coming together. And I almost see it, the visual I'm seeing is like a magnet. So magnets are being activated. Our magnetic field, our energy field is being activated. So how do you know if your energetic field is activated and your magnetic pull for your beloved is working? You know, I have to tell you, the one thing that I always get is raise your frequency, raise your vibration. I know you're sick of hearing me say that, but I think I'm going to keep saying that until we all do that, or until I get different words from my guides. But that is the prime directive, is to raise our frequency and our vibration, because the higher frequency vibration we are, the more in alignment we are with union, the more in alignment we are with our soul, in essence, than in alignment with our union. So doing that is creating this magnetic energy pulling back and forth. And I love that, because when I met my beloved, I was in really high frequency, like so high, I was floating on clouds. Like you could tell me the building next door was falling down, and I'd be like, oh, wow, that's too bad. So did you see the sun? It's amazing, beautiful. It was like this energy of, excuse me, this energy of like, I couldn't stay low frequency. I could only be in the high frequency. And that's when I met him, as I was in this amazing frequency of just pulling energy in and pulling in what I wanted. And believe me, my manifestation abilities were amazing back then. And they are again, they're coming back into play. So with all of that being said, that's how you raise your frequency. I mean, that's how you bring your magnetics back into alignment. And it doesn't mean you need to be floating and be like, oh, the building is falling down. It's not that. We're actually in a different energy. Like back then it was a vast difference between high frequency and being in real 3D. Whereas now there is not that much of a difference. Like the higher the frequency you are, the planet's higher. So it's like, it's a little bit better. You just want to raise up enough that you're in your alignment. That's where you really want to be, because the rest of humanity is working on raising themselves up as well. So that's a little rambling, but it's a little information about the new moon, because I feel like this is a very powerful new moon. I've been feeling it coming in, like I said, the last couple of days. And I feel like capture it, light a candle tonight, bring your energy into that, bring in your love into that candle and let it happen. Okay, so I'm going to pull the cards over for this week and let's see what we have. So for the Divine Masculine, I love this card, is the Earth Child. So let me show that to you. You can see that there's a little bit of a glare. Okay, so when you look at this card, I want you to see the baby holding the heart. I want you to see that as your Divine Masculine. So the Divine Masculine is actually bringing in his love. He's coming into himself, just kind of like I just said a few minutes ago, where he's coming, all that part of him is coming in, like all the ego is hijacked and now it's love coming in. And so I feel like it's like he's an infant in some ways, because the Divine Masculine is learning again. He's learning how to be. And he's learning in a pretty volatile society right now, because there's that extremes that are going on. And so the Divine Masculine, of the twin flame couple is actually learning to navigate from a place of love. And so what I get from this card is he's like a novice, he's learning to navigate it. So as he's learning to navigate, he's going to stumble and fall a little bit, but he's going to try. The difference is he's trying, and he's going to show that part to all of us. And I also see, by looking at the earth, seeing this massive earth above him, I feel like it's like the energy that he's feeling is his love for being human in a different way. Because he's going to recognize inside of him that, and I say him again, it's not male or female, but I'm using it because I'm saying Divine Masculine. He's going to recognize inside of him that he is really important to the earth, and he's going to have a new appreciation for who he is. And it's that developing piece for him. So I really love this card for the Divine Masculine. So let's look at the Divine Feminine. Interesting card. So I like it. Seeker of Swords. If you can see, there we go, better. The Scarecrow. Arms going different directions, swords going different directions. To me, this is like the duality, the question, the concerning. So on the surface, on the human piece, we might be thinking, I don't know, haven't heard from him, haven't talked to him, haven't met him yet, whatever reason that is, whatever maybe your doubt in there. But inside you have this, like, I know this is the time. 2017 is the year. This is the year of new beginnings. This is the year of coming together. This is the year of unity. But then there's that human part of you that gets really doubtful and scared, because there's this whole duality of, well, it doesn't look like anything's happening. And just because on the human surface it's not happening, again, doesn't mean it's not happening internally. And it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It just means at this present second, it might not be there. But you need to stay focused on what you know inside. Again, coming back to that high frequency so that you always come into your heart. Because if you're always coming from your heart, then guess what? You're always coming from your heart. And you're not coming from your head stopping you and, I need to protect you, so I'm going to tell you it's not going to happen so you don't get disappointed. This is really great for the Divine Feminine, because while the Divine Feminine is coming into power on our planet, like bringing in her power and allowing it to come through her, while that's happening, the divine feminine is also a little confused. So masculine's confused, divine feminine is a little bit confused. But what I feel about this card, I feel like there's this more of a duality, more of a conflicting information inside. Like you're trying hard to stay in, this is what I want, this is who I want. But on the outside, you're like, this doesn't look like it yet. And I feel like it's about coming together in alignment with knowing inside of you, this is what's going to happen, but I'm not going to accept the old patterns. I want to be in a different pattern. So I'm going to create a different reality for me. And by creating that different reality, it gets scary because we're pulling away from what we think is supposed to happen. But the truth is we're actually bringing us more in alignment with what is going to happen. So I actually really like this card for that reason. I feel like for the divine feminine, it's really important for us to recognize that we still have that duality, that there are times that we might doubt and that there are times that we feel really strong and faithful, but then other times we feel hopeless, and we feel scared. And understanding we have that happening and understanding what's affecting that and what around us is affecting it is very important as well. So I feel like for the divine feminine this week, it's really honing into that inner answer, using that to manifest from, using that to you capture the new moon with what's going on inside your heart. Okay, so now let's see. This third card is about union, about the relationship, what's happening. I love this card, so I'm going to show it to you. Two of Hearts. So if you see the I'm going to go over here. Two of Hearts, if you see it, beautiful card where you see the divine masculine, divine feminine as mermaids and sending a rainbow of love back and forth to each other. I feel like this is playfulness. When I look at this, immediately what comes to mind is like playfulness, that the energy of play needs to come into perspective for everyone. That the energy of sharing and balance is coming into alignment. There is going to be an interaction. I feel like communication is possible. I feel like, I get really strong with this communication is possible, but like not just communication, but real communication, not just a connection, but like real interaction, not just, like coming from a place of love, like both energies can come from a place of love versus, one in fear, one in love. And I also love this card because to me, it's like they're rising up out of their emotions and they're learning balance. So it represents the union, the relationship. So to me, it's both parties separately learning to find their balance and then being able to share that balance and love back and forth. And in a playful, loving way versus in one person always sending and one person always receiving. I feel like they're both learning to find balance separately and they're coming together and they're able to share that. Because I feel like when you think about the union or the relationship or the journey to union, I should say, when you think about it, sometimes it seems as if one person's doing more than the other or one person's doing less and is running the old language of runner chaser. I try not to go in there because I don't want that to be manifested again. So it feels that way, but that's not always what it is. And I just want to emphasize that with all of you. It's not always what it is. So I encourage you to look at this being alignment for you, that this is exactly where you want to be. You want to be in balance. You want to share the love with that person. And you want them to be in balance with you. You don't want it to be one versus the other or one giving to the other. So I'm hoping that makes sense for this week. I have to tell you, like overall, I feel like this union energy that we're moving into, and it's coming. It's like to me, it's a snowball effect. I use that, which is really funny because we haven't had that much snow, considering it's been winter. There's a snowball effect coming into play. So my feeling is all this energy of balance and love and learning to express and learning to be in high frequency and learning to connect with each other from a heart level versus a head level and from a heart versus a fear level. It's building and building and building. And it's like rolling down. And as it's rolling, it's creating this chain reaction for all of us to start coming into union, like the possibilities. The visual they're giving me is a snowball. So when you think of a snowball, when you're rolling it, you're actually making a pathway. Like there might be this beautiful, pure snow on the ground, but you create the ball and you start rolling because it gets too big and you're pushing it. As you're pushing it, you're creating a path. And they're showing me this pathway is opening and the snowball just starts going by itself because then it starts to go downhill. Do you ever do that where it just starts to move downhill and it starts rolling by itself and it creates a pathway? That's what I'm seeing for a visual, and that's what I think is happening as we're building. So this new moon is like the building of the following year, like what's coming and the building upon build. It's starting the foundation. That's the right word. Building didn't sound right. It's starting the foundation and we're building forward. And I feel like each experience thereafter is going to keep going and growing from that. And so, going back, I want to go back to the divine feminine for a minute, the duality, the feeling of like, yes, no, I don't know, I'm not sure, I don't know what to do, I want this, yes, I do, no, I don't, I'm so frustrated. That's normal to have all of that. It's normal to have that conversation. But what's really important is to get back into your truth. What do you really want? Do whatever tools it takes to get you there, because that's going to help you move that snowball forward. He's going to be in his heart, and he is going to start to see from his heart. Now, I can't say every single moment of every single day and every step of the day that's what's going to happen, because remember, he's like the baby here. So it means he's beginning. He's just beginning. And that's what I get from this card today, is like he's just beginning, but he's there. That's the beauty. He'll have more moments than he's ever had. And he's just beginning to understand how his heart plays a role in his life here on earth. And I love these cards. I just do, because I feel like the possibilities are coming. So if they're not there, they're already like in the play. So I send you so much love. Namaste. And I am going to take a nap because I am not feeling very well. I'm very tired. So if I don't get back to you today with your messages, I promise to get back to you for the next few days. Take care of you. Namaste. So much love to all of you.